All right, guys. So it's microphone day at the workbench here, and so there's an 878. There's an Astatic 878 DM mic here, and I'm going to be wiring it for a Cybernet 5-pin DIN. So this is actually a customer's mic. Sent it in along with his Telsat SSB 140. It's actually right here. Beautiful, beautiful radio. I'll be making a video on that as well. Yeah, one of my, I'd have to say, top 5 radios. Anyway, so this came with it, and he wanted it wired to that. So this comes with a 4-pin. I'm assuming this comes wired for Cobra Uniden 4-pin. But we're going to be putting in a 5-pin DIN. And yeah, so like I said, it's microphone day here. I also have here a Cobra CA72 compression mic. And I'm actually really excited about this one because I've never actually had one come to the shop. So this one came in also with another really, really nice radio, a Cobra 2000 GTL. This thing's just in pristine condition. Yeah, I'll be making a video on that too. So I'm actually pretty excited to see how this this one here sounds. So this is a compression mic. So yeah, but we're going to be focusing more on the focusing on this 878 here. And it's a great mic. You can still buy these new. It's probably one of the only one of the few desktop mics that you can buy new. It is amplified. The only thing I don't like about it is the gain is on the bottom, as you guys can see. It's not really a big deal if you're gonna keep it on the same radio. I guess it's really not that big of a deal. You know, you kind of just set it and forget it type thing. But you know, I personally would like to have the gain adjustment readily available. You know, on the top side of the mic, kind of like all the power Turner mics and you know basically everything else. But anyway, it is what it is. I think if you keep it with the same radio, it's really not that big of a deal. So, but it is what it is. So yeah, so I have two style. I normally keep two style 5-pin DIN plugs. This is more like an audio, like a hi-fi grade cast connector, which I will be using on this particular radio. And then I have just a regular style what you find on probably like 90% of most of these realistic and Cybernet style microphone plugs. You know, just nothing wrong with these. But this is a little bit better quality. It's a nicer radio, so I figured I'd just use this. And it seems to have, without having the click-in feature, this one tends to stay in a lot better than this style. So we're going to be putting in the cast version of the 5-pin DIN on this this microphone here. So we actually have, what's nice is we have a wiring color code here. And that makes things a hell of a lot easier for wiring up this 5-pin DIN. So easy enough. So let's get to it. I'm going to take this end off here. I'm probably just going to chop it off. And I don't know if I should keep this or whatnot for spare, but I have so many of these 4-pin plugs. I'll probably just end up tossing it and keeping, probably just keep the outside for spare parts or something. These little screws are known to just disappear on you for no reason, so they're always good to have on hand. But, all right, let's get to it. I'm going to cut this end off here, and then I'll show you guys how to actually wire up this Astatic microphone for a 5-pin Cybernet or Realistic. All right, stand by. All right, so I have a diagram here because the Lafayette 5-pin DIN does not fall into a Cybernet category, even though most of the Lafayette radios are Cybernet chassis. So if you look over here at the tester, you'll see that there's the Cobra President 5-pin DIN, and then you have the Realistic Cybernet 5-pin DIN. While this is true some of the times, not all of the Cybernet microphones or chassis are wired to the Realistic style. And so Lafayette's an example of that. So I have a bunch of mics here, and I'll show you what I mean. But, so the Lafayette, I decided to make a diagram because it's just easier this way, and if anybody runs into an issue wiring up their 5-pin Lafayette, you can always refer back to this. So this is going to be, these are the color codes for 6-wire Astatic. It doesn't matter which model. Astatic uses these colors, and they all do the same, no matter what microphone you have. And then this is the pinout for the Lafayette 5-pin DIN. And then, so when you're looking, so this would be looking at the actual plug, not from the solder side. So this would be your view, or this would be looking head on, yeah, like that. Not from the back side, not the, so that would be the inverse, or the mirror side, or the radio side. So this diagram is looking at the actual, as if the plug is looking at you. So, yeah. So for some reason, it's not numbered all like 1 to 5. For some reason, they skipped around. So this is pin 1, this is pin 4, this is pin 2, this is pin 5, and this is pin 3. Don't ask me why, I don't know. That's how they decided to number it. So when you look at a pinout, it's not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or, vice versa. This is how it is. So for the Lafayette, pin 4 is the shield. Pin 1 is audio, so that would be the white wire on the Astatic. Power, it's not used. The yellow wire on the Astatic. Red is transmit, and that's on pin 2. Blue is switch, common, whatever you want to call it. That's pin 3. And then receive is the black, and that's on pin 5. So there you go. That's and this is also helpful because even if you're not using an Astatic microphone, now you know exactly what pin is what. So when you go to look on the bottom of your mic, or like your churner or whatever, and you can actually follow along, with the color codes, and it just makes it a lot easier doing it this way. Now, you can also say, well, you can also use an adapter. You could have got a 4-pin adapter and adapted it to the 5-pin DIN. Yeah, you could have done it that way too, but, this way it's less connectors. I think it looks better. And my opinion, you're better off changing the end on the microphone, because when you have such a nice radio like this Telsat SSB 140, I don't want to start hacking around and changing that to a 4-pin. I'd rather it's a lot easier dealing with this end than it is dealing with the radio end. Of course, it's my opinion. Everyone's entitled to, their opinions on that. Some people, I'm sure, would have changed out the radio to a 4-pin, like Cobra style or whatever. But this is the route I went down, and I think this is, in this situation, this is the best case. But anyway, yep, so when you're looking at it, that's, let me see if I can get closer here. Okay, there we go. Actually, you might even be able to see the numbers, but anyway. So this one here is 1. That gets the white. This one here is shield, number 4. This one here, number 2 gets the red. Number 5 gets the black. And then number 3 gets the blue. So, like a lot of the cybernets, you don't even use 2. 2 is left blank. And then I believe 1 gets, pin 1 gets the shield and switch together, if I'm not mistaken. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's how that goes. So it's completely different than what Lafayette has as far as wiring goes. I'm not sure if it's just specifically Lafayette, but I can't confirm if there's other manufacturers out there, Cybernet-based, that have different wiring, or if they use the Lafayette wiring, or if they just use the Cybernet wiring. I don't know. But I can confirm this pinout works with 2 other of my Lafayette radios. So I have a HB640, and the radio worked perfectly with that one. I have a Micro 223, and it works perfectly with that. And this Lafayette mic here worked with the Telsat when it first came in. This one here worked perfectly with it. So I can confirm that. And then these other microphones did not work. So it's just proof that Lafayette does things a little bit differently when it comes to their 5-pin DIN. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this back together, and then we're going to go over to the tester here, and we're going to see exactly what's what as far as what works, what doesn't work, because you can wire the Lafayettes to the Cobra. So that's something I've noticed, and it will work, but it doesn't work right. And you can wire them to the realistic or the Cybernet, but you get transmit and you get receive, very, very little receive, and transmits, there's a lot of static on the TX. So, there's just something to keep in mind if anybody is doing a 5-pin DIN. Not everything is always 100%, as it says here. It's not always the case. But let me get this back together, and then you can see exactly what I mean. And then I'll get the Telsat 140 SSB out here, and we'll actually test this microphone on it, and just to make sure that what I'm saying is true. All right, hold on, stand by. All right, so let's give these mics a test. So we got a Cobra. These are all 5-pin DIN, so I don't have to keep repeating myself. They're all 5-pin DIN. So we're going to put it in the Cobra. And you can see the RX light comes on. I'm going to key up. The TX light comes on. Test, 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 test. You can hear it works. Test, 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 test. You plug it into the realistic Cybernet, and you can already hear static. And you can kind of see the RX light. Test, 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 test. See, it works. You can get transmit, but it's real staticky. So definitely realistic Cybernet. They're wired differently than the Cobra Presidents. All right, it's one down. General Electric, which is going to be the Cybernet microphone. So we can see RX light is lit. When you key up, it goes to TX. We talk into it. Test, 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 test. Works perfectly. We go to Cobra President, and now you hear the static again. Test, 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 test. It works, but again, once again, you can see that RX, it's just not working. So you can get confused that way, you know. You think, oh well, you know, it's wired correct, but in actuality, it's not, and you might get a little bit RX, but not as it should be. So finally, here's the realistic, and obviously we'll put it into the realistic side. And again, we have RX, key up, TX. Oops, sorry. Okay. Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. Microphone kind of sucks, but whatever. I don't particularly care for realistic microphones. So now we plug that in, and we have TX right away. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. You see? So, all right. We can definitely confirm those three mics. Well, the realistic and the GE are wired the same. Cobra, definitely wired different. So finally, the Lafayette. And, okay, 5 pinned in. This one's a little beat up, but this is my workhorse microphone. I put it into the Cobra because we don't have a spot for Lafayette, obviously. You'd think it would fall under the Cybernet, but it doesn't. But we'll go into the Cobra President. And you can see you have no TX-RX. Test, 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 test. But you do get transmit. Test, 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 test. And now plug it into the realistic Cybernet. And you can hear really bad static right off the bat. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but yeah. Test, 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 test. And it will transmit, but you hear that? It's just sounds like static. That's all it is. So if you have a Lafayette and Cybernet based, and you try to wire up a 5-pin DIN mic to that, it's not going to work. So there you have it. That's basically just a demonstration I wanted to show. So I got the plug wired up, soldered together, and let me get that SSB 140 over here. So now you know why the 5-pin Lafayettes are wired differently than even their Cybernet style. So if you guys want, you can take a screenshot of that, pause the video, do whatever, but that's the pinout. And if you're using a 6-wire Astatic, those are the colors that you want to use when you're wiring up your Lafayette 5-pin DIN. All right, so let me get this Telsat over here on the workbench, and we'll test out the mic I just wired, and we'll see how it sounds on the monitor radio. All right, stand by. All right, so here's the radio. This is definitely one of my favorites of all time. Top 5 radios. Like the way it looks, just like everything about it. But yeah, so this is a customer's radio here, and he had asked me to wire up that mic for the radio. So that's what we just did, and let's see how it sounds. What else? Yeah, that's about it. So I got the mono radio on, and try to set you up here on this little tripod here. Hopefully we won't get too much feedback with these powered mics, but let's try. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. Alright, there we go. I got a little bit of feedback, but test, 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 test. Testing this Astatic mic. How's this sound? Well, we're getting some feedback. We're too close. Too close. But at least it's working. Yeah, it's... Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me adjust the mic gain a little bit here. See if we can get the sounding a little bit better. Test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just a little too close. Powered mics, that's how it is. You get that weird noise when you're right next to each other. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that this kind of will help somebody in the future. They can't figure out the wiring, or as to why their Cybernet-based Lafayette isn't wired like a Cybernet. I don't know the reason why behind that. So I don't know if Lafayette just wanted to do their own thing. Again, I don't know if it's just Lafayette or if there's actually other Cybernet-based manufacturers that decided to do their own wiring. But I can confirm that Lafayettes are wired differently than your typical Cybernet. So hopefully this will help somebody out who is, you know, trying to wire up a 5-pin DIN for their Lafayette. That's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for watching. You know what? Why don't we do a quick test of the of a stock Lafayette mic? See how that sounds compared to this Astatic. Now, one thing you guys have to realize is I haven't. Let me turn this down. I haven't adjusted any of this yet. I haven't adjusted the gain on that. I haven't done anything to the radio yet. So just keep that in mind as well. So, but let's see how this stock Lafayette mic sounds, and you guys decide what sounds better. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this mic sound better? Turn the mic gain down a little. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How's this mic sound? Actually, in my opinion, I think this mic sounds a little bit better. Yeah, just my opinion, though. Could be because the gain needs to be adjusted on that desk mic, so. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching.